Hey there, Brandon here, and welcome to another episode of Stack and Scale. And today I got a good one. Today I got a fun one for you. So if you are a marketing nerd, you like data, you like the spreadsheets, and I think that's most of us, right? I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. So I've been using Coefficient, and I've been really enjoying it. I've been really impressed. And Coefficient, think of it as like a Lovable, but for your data and for your spreadsheets. And you may have heard of them before. So they started out really powering live data in spreadsheets. And like a lot of the smart companies out there, they're adding AI capabilities. And, that's my reference to, it's kind of like vibe coding, but for your spreadsheets, vibe dashboarding, vibe data analyzing, right? So that's why I said kind of like lovable. They're adding a lot of cool AI capabilities. Now, some of these are still in beta. I'm going to show you what I've built. I'm going to walk you through some of the features, some of the functionality. Three main things I do want to cover today is just first, it's connecting the data, connecting your data, your spreadsheets, and they have over 100 pre-built enterprise-grade connectors and APIs. So you can pull all of your data in with AI. And then the next piece, after you get the data in, I want to show you how you can actually start to take that raw data and make sense of all of the noise. Find the signal in the noise, as they say, right? So how to clean the data, how to use logic and everything that you need to structure it and run your business efficiently and effectively. And then we're going to dive into the next step is it's all about, all right, how do we make this useful? So it's publishing dashboards, it's setting up automations, it's sending notifications to the right people at the right time on a schedule, that sort of thing. So with all that said, let's just jump right into Coefficient. All right, so over here, you'll see here is Coefficient and all the things that you can do with it over here. But let me actually just walk you through what I built already. So I have data from HubSpot. I have my contacts from HubSpot. I have my data from Google Analytics. I've got data from Google Ads, and I've also got data from my LinkedIn ads. But it's really easy to add other data sources. So, as I mentioned, they have over 100 of these pre-built connectors. So you can see all of them here. And if you click on more, see the whole list, you can see they've got a ton of them. And these are all the tools that you use all day, every day already anyway. But also, what you could do is if you have just some spreadsheets, you export and then want to import them, that sort of thing, we can do that too. So it could be just using a CSV or Excel, or some of the clients that I work with are using Clay to scrape some data, enrich it, put it into a spreadsheet. And then now I can take that, I can play around with the data, I can manipulate the data, and I can actually start to draw some insights from that data. So a lot of different ways to get your data in here. And you're connecting all of your data, because without live data, your spreadsheets are just static files, right? So you can actually run them on schedules, or again, hooking them up to the different integrations and have them automatically be pulled in and refreshed, all that sort of fun stuff. All right, so once you get your data in here, the next thing that we want to do is clean it up. So this is just raw data. And then now we can start to transform the data. So doing things like removing duplicates, standardizing your data, making dates consistent, validating email formatting. That's you just use natural language processing to do any of these things. So one that I do frequently with one of my clients, they don't have a standardization on their state field. So you could just put it in here, say, standardize the state column based off of the 2-character state abbreviation. And then you run that, AI does its thing, and it starts to clean up your data. And then the next thing that we can do is start to actually use formulas. So you can use AI here to help you write a formula. You can fix a formula that's broken, or maybe someone else built a spreadsheet, or maybe you built it in the past and you forgot what you did. Explain this formula to me. Because I've definitely had that happen a few times. And then you can create some visuals. You can create charts and graphs. You can create pivot tables. And then we can analyze the data as well. I'll come back to that one in a second. But again, over here, we could do something as simple as create a pivot for me based on life cycle stage and original lead source, apply a filter of only this month. Something like that, or it'll throw it in there, hit go, and then from there you can say, create it in this spreadsheet or create the pivot table in this tab, or create it in a new tab, just like you would a regular pivot table. And then again, if you want to edit that pivot table, instead of having to go in and do the editing, use natural language to edit that pivot table. And then the other one here, we're getting into the fun stuff a little bit more, is analyze my data. So let's hit this real quick and see what it comes back based off of the analysis of just this tab. So let's hit analyze my data and let it do its thing. It's thinking. And then it's going to give us a great little analysis of all of the data here in this spreadsheet. All right, here's what we got back. So let's take a quick look. So analysis of your HubSpot contacts. Yeah, okay, good high level analysis. Okay, broke it by stage, by source, starts to give me some insights. Key takeaways. Nice. Good. And then, of course, you can ask it any other follow-up questions here too. So I love that feature. And then next, let's go on to snapshots. So this is a super helpful one too. I take a snapshot of this dashboard at a specific time. And this is really helpful for if you want to see, like, because again, this is going to be a live spreadsheet that's always going to be updated, but you want to know, where were we at with, certain amount of contacts or leads in a certain stage from HubSpot or from a certain source at a specific time. Then it's easy to go back and look at that, because it's not always easy to look at historical data. So you can say, create a snapshot and we can run it on a schedule. And I have a few set up already, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But this is just setting up a new one. And here we can say just this tab here. I want to do it every Monday at 9 a.m. I don't know, it says 9 p.m. Let's do it at, the current one I have set up is Monday at 9 a.m. Again, you could do it daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, whatever that is. And then how many to retain. I think my other one is 52, so I want to save them for a full year. But I mean, why not go all the way up to 100 or 2 years, 3 years, or whatever? So you could save that, and then you create the snapshot. So I already created one basically for this. And I'll show you down here. We can easily go in here. We can rename it. We can edit this, and then we can create our snapshots on all of our data. So it's easy to go back and look at what has happened in the past. Now, that does create a new tab. And then all I've done is I hid the tab. So I'm mainly still looking at these 4 main sources. But I can obviously easily go in there and look at one of the other tabs of the snapshot that I created. All right, so I'm just going to hide this again. And then let's go back. And then I can set up some automations where I'm getting notified in email or Slack. And what I can do here is I can set this up so that it's, again, on a schedule. I'm selecting the data that I want it to send to me, or I could also say, alert me when this data changes, or alert me when I have new data in this spreadsheet on this table, that sort of thing. Oh, whoops, what am I doing here? I'm talking too much here. Let's see, let's go to notifications, create new on a schedule, and then I'm going to configure this. And then here's when I can say either I want it to a specific Slack channel, or you can actually send it as a direct message in Slack to someone. And then, of course, you can put your email in there. And then Again, here we're setting it on a schedule. So daily, weekly, monthly, specific time, et cetera, et cetera. And again, I already have mine set up over here. You just scroll down under automations, and this is my weekly report. I just named it weekly report because that's basically, I'm giving it a summary of what I'm doing every week. Okay. And then this is the cool part. So web dashboards, this is still in beta, but this is coming out very soon. And this is really what got me excited. So these are the dashboards that I already created, but we can go in here and again, using the AI, using natural language, I can say, build me a weekly dashboard that gives me a summary of all my marketing sources so that I can see how I'm trending every week. Or I can do a monthly executive dashboard or anything like that. And actually, those are the two ones that I built. So let's actually just go over and check those out. All right, so here's my executive summary and shows me executive insights. Again, I'm presenting to an executive team here, and some nice, beautiful dashboard, and it gives me everything that the executive team would need to know. I can move these around if I want to. I can edit the data too. So editing is really easy. You can edit with AI. So you can come over here and you can say, edit this dashboard or add this or remove this, or you can go into any of these specific reports in your dashboard, and then you can, of course, change the title, add a description, or use AI here. So if you wanted to, you could say, add the percentage or add the dollar value to each of the sources. Instead of just having to hover over to see the actual dollar value, you can do that. And then up here, you can also change the theme. I like something, simple but warm like this for my dashboards. You can control the sources, so remove those, etc. You can share these with anyone. And then here you can look at your other dashboards. So again, I also created a weekly dashboard, weekly performance dashboard, and you can easily come through here and look at how am I doing? What are my key insights? Some good visuals here. And look at how I'm doing on a weekly basis. So that is dashboards. Again, I'm a big proponent of using visualizations and dashboards to tell your data story, because of course data or visuals are going to help you tell that better story. And it's also going to better help you look to see where things are off or how things are trending. Visuals are always so important. I'm really big on visuals. So that's why I love this functionality of Coefficient. And then the last thing to note with Coefficient here, at least the last thing that I've been playing around with is exporting the data. So you can, of course, export it to wherever you need. So I'm sure there's a lot more cool things to Coefficient than I've been able to explore. But again, I've been pretty impressed with what I've seen so far and with what I've been able to build. And again, I didn't write any code here. I didn't write any formulas. I didn't do any pivot tables myself, even though I'm pretty proficient myself within spreadsheets and within Excel. If I can choose to not have to do that and it's quicker and it's easier, of course, I'm going to do that all day, every day. So I hope that was helpful. So again, really, this is a great way to have all of your marketing data and have it in a live database without having static files that you're wondering are out of date. And it's a great way to just make sense of all of the noise that can be in your data, clean up your data, build logic into it so that it can help you run your business, and then of course publish it to wherever you need it published to. So play around with this. I'm going to link Coefficient up in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know what you end up building. Hope that was helpful, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.